How about the overall US population trend? This is something that you might have seen elsewhere since it transcends real estate, but I'll give you my real estate take on it too. All right, so the latest Census Bureau figures, they show that the US population is projected to contract, to shrink by the year 2100, which would be only the second decline in the nation's history, and the other decline occurred in the 1918 Spanish flu and World War I for those reasons. Annual population growth rates, they have dropped from about 1.2% a generation ago to just 0.5% today, and the culprits are declining birth rates and that aging population. All right, the US has the world's third biggest population, and it could be demoted to fourth or fifth by Pakistan or Nigeria as soon as the middle of this century. So this anticipated population contraction, that means that immigration could become vital for any hopes of continued growth. And yet, understand the US is still growing faster than a lot of other high-income nations like Japan and Italy that are already losing population. All right, so though the US population is projected to shrink by 2100, the more important thing for you to remember as a real estate investor that's going to need a population to drive demand is that our population is still expected to grow every year until about the year 2080 by most every model out there. So still 50 to 60 years of population growth, and then it isn't until later, 2100, that it's expected to decline. And of course, birth rates and immigration rates are bigger unknowns than the death rate out there in the future, and just estimating how soon our population is going to peak. But it's going to be a while, many decades. And then of course, even in 50, 60 years, if the overall American population stops growing, all right, well, it'll probably still grow in some regions. And I wonder if Florida will still be growing late this century. It seems like it never stops there with population growth. And also, it's not just about overall population growth when it comes to housing demand. It's how people choose to live within a certain population growth rate, okay? With a population of 100, if there are 2 people per household, well, they can be housed with 50 homes. But if there's just 1 person per household, well, then it's going to take 100 homes to house those same 100 people, no longer 50 homes. All right, and one trend that's made for surging American housing demand is that you have fewer people living in each household. That's how people choose to live today. So keep that in mind. You see a small 0.5% annual growth rate in more recent years, but there are a lot of numbers behind the numbers. You can watch this one next.